The Smithsonian's National Museum of American History teaches everything except history. The White House accusing the Smithsonian Museum of replacing American history with left-wing activism. Look at some of these examples. Quote, remembering the nuclear family as, quote, white culture, dedicating an entire exhibit to transgender youth, and claiming that Mickey Mouse is, you got it, racist. The director of the museum was on Capitol Hill this week, where she tried her best to defend the woke label. Watch this.
Do you believe that men can become women?
Ma'am, as the director of the museum, that's not relevant in this case.
It's very relevant. You've got men dressed up as women, and you have them on displays in front of kids.
In another exhibit, a 6-year-old girl asked why she doesn't have male genitalia. Do you really think that content is appropriate for children?
I believe the exhibition and project you're referring to is Girlhood, It's Complicated, which was a temporary exhibit in our museum that closed, I believe, in 2020.
Ma'am, I didn't ask you that.
Yes, sir?
Is it important to be polite?
Yes, sir.
Can you help me square why your organization says that being polite is part of being a white supremacist?
I'm not exactly familiar with that passage.
Well, GOP rising star Congressman Brandon Gill had his latest viral moment during that exchange, and he joins us now. I wish we could have kept going because you really had her over the coals. Congressman, here's what's interesting to me. So the Smithsonian gets $1.75 billion. That's their budget. 62% of that comes from the federal government. Why don't we have more say over what's going on inside of there?
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do. I think if you zoom out, the American people are so sick of seeing the left take control of iconic American institutions like the Smithsonian Institution. The American people want to go to visit Washington, D.C. and go to these museums and see objective American history. They want to see a museum that's funded by taxpayers that is promoting patriotism, that promotes American ideals and values, and instead they get this kind of woke nonsense. So that's what we're trying to do, is to say, listen, we're done with this. You're no longer going to denigrate America, denigrate the American people, and promote values that most people in this country find repulsive. We're going to return to the core purpose of the Smithsonian Institution, which is to promote history and to teach people things.
Yeah, and to inspire us and unite us as a country instead of dividing us. I've been complaining about the Smithsonian, Brandon Gill, maybe since before you were born, because they've been turning them into these woke cathedrals, these identity politics, experiments, and our kids have to go through it, and we have to pay for it. Here's why I love President Trump. He's taking it on as well. Here's an executive order from President Trump. He says the Secretary of Interior shall install temporary signage along the NPS maintained sidewalks and walkways used by the public to access the museum. Such signage shall notify visitors that the museum exhibits should be renovated, consistent with the findings of the reports, and direct visitors to locations and resources for accurate information regarding America's history. In other words, there are signs outside of the museum now being put up by President Trump saying the stuff in here isn't accurate. Let me tell you where you can get accurate stuff. I like that he's doing that, but it's not enough, right?
Well, I think it's a great first step, and I'm glad that he's being very clear with the American people that we're not going to tolerate this anymore. Ultimately, what I think we need to see is the museum clean house. I mean, I want to see Director Hardig fired. I think most of their staff probably need to be fired as well. We need to replace them with people who actually do revere American history and, as you mentioned, want to inspire the American people. But what I will say is this is the first time, I think, that we've had a president who takes this stuff seriously, who doesn't just look the other way and allow the left to continue their long march through the institutions and continue shoving leftism down our throats and down the throats of our children. And I think that's what is so refreshing about the president here.
Yeah, and distorting our history. It's really part of the Marxist playbook. I'll tell you this, Brandon, our Congressman, I was on a board for the Latino Museum, and I thought maybe I could help shape it, right? Like, it's going to happen. I don't really love these identity politics museums. I don't think that's how these Smithsonian museums should be organized. I got on the board. I thought I could change it. I realized I could not, and I quickly got myself off of it and called congressmen and told them to defund it. But I believe that what needs to happen, and I just want a yes or no from you, shouldn't we just remake the whole thing? It should be, you should be able to walk through the museums chronologically from you know, when the Native Americans were here to the conquistadors, all the way through, and then we see where all these different groups interact with American history, instead of having, as I said, these cathedrals to different identities. Your thoughts?
100%. That's exactly what we need. In other words, we need an actual objective telling of American history, not at looking back on the American story and grouping different people into racial or ethnic groups, or groups based on their gender or their sexuality or their immigration status, as the left likes to commonly say. We are one American people, and I think that's what we need to see.
Amen to that. Keep working on it. Let us know as you progress. It's not enough to call them out. We need to remake the whole darn thing.
Right.
Thank you, Congressman.
That's right. Thanks for having me.
You got it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.